Salah Hakuya, everyone. Welcome. I'm here with my friend Tiny, who came all the way over here from Oakland. Tiny, which is Poor Magazine. We go way back in the ancient of days, I would say, when her mother, beautiful mother, was here. I had ran for the Board of Supervisors even then. I don't know how many years ago. I guess it was about how many years ago, Tiny?
10.
About 10 years ago. So people think, that me running for the Board of Supervisors was about my son. No, I ran before. I've been a community activist for 30 years in San Francisco, way before my son was murdered. I ran for the Board of Supervisors 10 years ago, just for the fun of it, because I didn't know that my creator was uh, actually preparing me for the journey that I have taken in this past year. And because my friend Tiny, everyone, is here and she has a 501c3 nonprofit, she still wanted just to acknowledge me. But when this conversation here is not going to be about the campaign, so we want everybody to know this is the conversation that's going to be today, specifically because I have lost a son, Yalani Chinyamarinde. He was murdered, quadruple homicide, 4 black boys shot to death in Hayes Valley and Fillmore 3.5 years ago in January the 9th, 2015. It would be almost 4 years. So we're going to talk about every one of our stories, because I invited my family members and friends who all of us here has some type of violent encounter concerning our children. Alicia, my girl here, she's going to tell her story. Her brother was murdered in San Francisco. Deborah, her son was shot also in San Francisco, correct? And he also survived. And Steve, he's going to share his story concerning his daughter was also murdered recently. So we all here are here to identify with the violence that has taken place in San Francisco and all over California and all over the United States. I'm going to give you my take concerning the disenfranchised, the poor and the very poor community, and how our lost have not been taken very seriously in the United States of America, because we had a tragedy that has transpired here in the United States, and that has to do with the Jewish community and the synagogue of the elders and the church of their loved ones just as well that have been murdered. It's been 12. I want to have a dialogue concerning that, of the violence that's transparent, and that what has been going on here in the disenfranchised community has not been recognized. However, concerning this recent event, it's been getting a lot of coverage, mass, and the rabbis, etc., and the political officials are talking about opening up the churches so the people of the United States can grieve, because the people are grieving concerning these 12 elders who were in their 70s and their 80s, and some was in their 90s. So we're going to have a dialogue concerning that and my feelings. I feel that in life it's about transparency, and I think that we have all been hiding behind who we really are. We've been hiding behind not being able to truly express how we feel. And I think that that's very dangerous, because other cultures can express about how they're hurting culturally. They can talk about the synagogue, they can talk about the Holocaust, and don't feel guilty. We commonly call African American and are truly the present day Hebrew nation of people. We can't talk about the slave trade. We can't speak about this because we always have to explain ourselves that we are not racist, that we are not prejudiced. Now, for me, I understand that over the years, a lot of people say that I'm very, very passionate. They say that I have been very, very loud. So, but my sister Yolanda Banks Reed, Femininity Wear Production, her mother, she wrote a book called, after her mother, our Queen Elizabeth Chambers, our Hebrew Queen. Elizabeth Chambers, she wrote a book called A Guardian Angel with a Loud Voice. So it also states in scripture that wisdom cries out in the wilderness. So I do have an understanding that people are saying, "Oh, well, Sally, you're so loud and what?" But I say you're too quiet and you're silent, and silence is guilt. But I have came to a point in my life that being loud hasn't gotten me anywhere. And so I respect those who look at it as aggressive or sometimes they can't receive it. I respect that. But I decided for myself, I had to come to a conclusion. For me to express myself, that I have to be calm. Because I will be received better by being calm. So I honor what the people have put out there. Now, the reason that they saw me always constantly, is because I felt I was never heard. Because we all who know the streets know what the brothers and sisters, if you ain't coming like gangster style, are calling, B, what's up? Nobody hearing you, right? They don't appreciate characters that are kind and gentle. It's got to be that thuggish. You understand? So that was my interpretation of trying to connect to my black community by being loud. Another word is called drama. You understand? I'm not giving you any drama here. After this race that I have ran, my race, not just with the campaign, but my life of race, in the race of the journey of life, I'm not giving you that anymore. I'm not giving the people the drama anymore, because what they look at it as entertainment. And see, what's going on with our children is not entertainment. What's going on in this community, this disenfranchised, this poor, whatever? Why is it that the rich and the elite is here and we here? This is 2018. Something is wrong. Okay, so what I have learned in this political race that I've ran, this political race, and I'm going to tell it to you straight. I'm going to bring, when I started, I said I'm going to bring transparency. I'm going to bring to you that which I experience and that which I see. And the bottom line, this race, I have to speak the truth. It was rigged and it was a scam. This political race in District 10, 2018, it was rigged and it was a scam. You will see here that there is nothing but men. This is the introduction in June. The introduction in June. Pull up a chair, Tony, sweetie. We're just getting started. The introduction in June is all men that they have running for the Board of Supervisors in District 10. All men. Okay? I want everyone to please to get this. This was in June. Some might say, well, they are the ones that receive the most money, or they are the ones that are the chosen three. This is in June. This is June 11, 2018, the beginning of the platforms and the debate. This was the very beginning. So this had nothing to do with them being the chosen three. Excuse me, and no, there's four here. This is Neo, this is here Tony, this is Shaman and Theo. Now, also, this is the ending. This was the Chronicle that just did 3 weeks ago, or maybe 2. All men. Why am I letting you know this? This is very important. It was 3 commonly called African American women. We Hebrews, I'm ready to tell the world. I'm not sure we are Hebrews, nation of people, but commonly called 3 African American women that are in this race. Why weren't they covered in the media? Why weren't we? Why weren't we covered in the media? This is myself, Sala Chandler, and having my son. I'm running in regards to my son being murdered in San Francisco. Quadruple homicide. 4 black boys shot to death in Fillmore in the Hayes Valley area, January the 9th, 2015. Even though I ran before, and even though my son was murdered 4 years ago, this was some like an energy for me to direct concerning the trauma, the pain that we all are experiencing here in this room today, what this is all about. Every one of us is dealing with this trauma and this pain in any way that they see fit. And we're going to talk about that. But this was the way that I chose to deal with it. We wasn't even acknowledged. This is a young woman. This is Gloria Berry, her beautiful grandson. She was in the Navy shipyard, and she's talking about her issues and the illnesses that she received from the Navy shipyard. Why wasn't she acknowledged? This is another woman. Her name is Yazari Peace Green. Her reason was she lived in the Potrero Hill housing developments. She wanted to show these children that she was told that because she lived in the housing developments that she wasn't good enough to run. She showed them different. Why wasn't she put in the media? So the reason that I called Tiny tonight on Friday was because I came to a conclusion. For me, this race wasn't about me winning, because I've already won. What I feel is the ending or the beginning of this revolution is the fact that we got to understand something. If we don't value the African black woman, then we're not going to value her children. You understand? Mm-hmm. We're not going to value her children that are being murdered, and we're not going to value her children that's alive. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So these beautiful 3 black women have not been acknowledged. So that shows me that the media do not value the black woman. This is what I'm receiving. And I accept this as true. If it was 3 Caucasian women or Chinese, I don't care if they didn't raise 50 cents. They would have been up there front and center. I guarantee you that. And secondly, they would not have accepted it if they was. They would have realized that something is mighty wrong going on over here. And I want everyone out there in Twitter land, Facebook land, YouTube land to let you know that we are not accepting it either.
All right.
It is a violation against the 5th Amendment, our constitutional rights, freedom of the press, freedom of speech, to deny it. What was done was a criminal offense, and the charges should be against the media and all those had partaken of it. See, they treat us like this every single day. You know why? Because they know that we're not going to think and put 2 and 2 together, and they know that it'll go past over our head. Oh, it don't matter. You don't think that this wasn't serious, that we got no media coverage all year? How do we have a chance of winning if the people don't know we're here? So, it's about the men. But let me tell you this. No justice is going to reign in 2008 through a man. And I'm going to tell you why. Because someone has to be in tune with the pain of the suffrage of the people. And the only one got the mechanism to do that is a woman. Do you understand me? We can feel the pain, because I'm going to say this. If the man had it, we wouldn't be in this situation that we are in today. Do you understand me?
Say that.
We wouldn't be in this situation where we have people sleeping. I dropped somebody off last night. She'll tell you, call him Supergirl, bless his heart. And got some issues going on. But the poor man, I dropped him off after we had Lynn Lieber did something special for me last night. It was really worthy. And I dropped him off at 48th by the beach. He's sleeping way in the back, transgender, in a tent, in a back dumpster somewhere where it's nothing but darkness. In a tent by the beach. And I'm feeling like, aren't you? I was kind of nervous, and I don't usually get nervous, but I'm like, aren't you scared? I said, are you here by yourself? He said, well, people way somewhere scattered out, but they're sleeping in parks, in tents, in the back by the beach. And I said, somebody can rape him, somebody can kill him, and that's where we are right now. People are sleeping any and everywhere to survive. You know, and if that, I said, but you know what got me? What got me is I said, I'm coming home to a 2-bedroom warm house And this man is sleeping in the cold in the tent, dealing with the fact that he's a transgender. He was already contemplating suicide, and then this is what you give him. He said he went to some politicians to get help, but he still haven't received it. That broke my heart. You see me cry over my son many times, but I'm crying over the community, the people who are suffering. And so I'm trying to think, what can I do? Mm-hmm. What can I do? Because I saw it with my own eyes. Right. People, we got to do something about the whole of. It's not fair for the elite to be here and what is this? And I'm gonna have him talk about it, Steve. 6,000, they say that even 6,000 or 10,000, you can't even get a house. What is that? Go ahead and express that as far as the 6,000 to 10,000 a month concerning that's not even enough to buy a house.
Yeah, well, basically, so
What's your name?
Steve. My name's Steve. So basically, what happened at Candlestick, they had built over 6,200 luxury homes, and those homes are selling for over $1 million each. But then they have affordable housing, which starts at $600,000. And in order to qualify for that loan, you have to make $10,000 a month because that's affordable. That's not affordable. Who makes that kind of money? Nobody makes that kind of money except for people in tech. If you have a job in tech, you could afford, because you're making $10,000 a month, you could barely afford $600,000, and so you become mortgage poor. So they're turning Candlestick into a place where everybody's mortgage poor, even though they have good jobs. Anywhere in this country, that should be able to get you a house, because a house anywhere in the country costs $300,000 and below. But they're turning California to a place, like Sala just said, living in tents, living in RVs, living in your car, and it's illegal to do. The people go to jail over this stuff. Here, they make it illegal. It was on the news today about, there's 434 cars that we counted, most of them RVs, and it's illegal, but we're going to try to do something about it. What are they going to do? Sala's right. You could do, like in Santa Clara, they don't allow people to go because they rape the women. Like when they see a woman all alone in the car, it's real easy to get to her. So, and that's why they make it illegal, because in theory, it's hard for women to be homeless. Yeah. But what are they going to do? That they shut down, usually what they do is they go to the gym 24 hours, 24-hour fitness, the gym, go shower. But now they're forcing them to shut down because too many people who are homeless are parking in those parking lots. So, it's a big mess. And what led to all this? Sala is right. It's the corruption. These politicians are corrupt, and we're not doing anything about it. We're not asking anybody to investigate. We're not asking anybody to do anything to stop it from happening. Why is it that we're allowing developers to develop the land? Why can't we just buy the land? Where is the law that says the city can't sell lots of land to people and say, you know what, we got, how much open space is that? They said 300 acres of open space at Candlestick. How come they can't sell the land? Why does it have to be open? Why do these people got to be homeless? Why can't they say, hey, look, I'll give you 3,000 square feet. This land is yours. Give me $10,000. It ain't hard to get $10,000. Anybody can get $10,000. When we used to party, we'd get some kegs and raise some money. 100 of us would raise money. We'd raise like $4 or $5 grand. Throw a nice little party. And people can do that if they're going to buy some land, and then you can get that easy financing because it's only $10,000. That ain't hard to do. That's cheaper than a car.
Because we would be working together, because that's what this is all about. The People's Campaign is us working together. That's my whole issue. Now, I want to say that this is what I'm doing, everyone, in memory of my son. This is the route I chose, because the impact is severe. They talk about the trauma of our children, but I'm impacted right now today. Once this race stops, I'm still going to go back into my suffrage. You got to be, it's because it's not natural, normal having your loved one shot down on the street or however your child end up. It's nothing natural about that. So this is what I chose. People say, well, why you using your son? Well, why not? It happened. What you gonna? I'm gonna act like, but I'm running, but my son is not going to be involved. My son is the reason that gave me the drive to be able to be a part of a wicked political race like this, because I would have dropped out a long time ago. I didn't focus on the money. You see, so this is what I'm doing, Sister Murder, my child. I want all the mothers to admit, and even now we have a father that has a similar situation, to tell. The question was, tell your story about what happened with your son. Because if we can talk about, I'm going to be very honest with you, other cultures and their children being murdered, and everyone is grieving and opening up the doors, and we got to once again always go in silence. Black women always got to go in silence. We can't say that we're hurting, because we always supposed to be strong. It's nothing natural about having our children murdered on the street. Now, if they're ill, we can deal with that, because it's an illness. You understand? If they're born this way as a child, even if they're born with cancer, this is what we gotta swallow the pill. But we go through the whole process of fighting for that child as long as we can. But to see your brother, your sister, your child one moment and then they're dead, no, it's not natural. And that is taking advantage of who we are culturally as a race of people, to say that we always supposed to carry this. Because as slaves, we always carry things on our backs, and women supposed to be donkey asses. I'm gonna tell you right now, people, I'm not nobody's donkey ass. My Hebrew mother raised us to know who we are, to know that we are royal, to know that we are valuable, to give what you want to receive in return, to be loving, to be kind. I'm a law-abiding citizen. Okay. I don't have no felonies. And let me tell you this, it was wrong for you not to include me in this race. I was qualified. But because I chose not to raise money, because, my man, he's going to speak on this, my brother, is that endorsement leads to corruption. And you can talk about all day, endorsements leads to corruption. But I'm not going to even have him expound on that. I'm going to have the mothers expound on how they was able to, what happened with them, because I'm very serious about this. This is a major problem in the United States of America, of the mothers that have lost their children. And in the disenfranchised community, we are supposed to sit here and continue to take all this corruption on every hand and act like everything is calm. Something is about to explode. Whoever want to speak, go ahead and speak.
I speak. My name is Deborah. Okay. And my son was shot August 31st, 2008. And he was at a strip joint and confrontation, because I tells him kind of slow down his drinking and smoking weed. When he get a little belligerent, he gets out of line. And from what I can understand, the story was that he misinterpreted a young lady and called her out her name. And it wasn't right, and it was disrespectful. And the Mexicans came around and point blank shot him in the mouth. And that particular night, I usually, know that when he come in and out, and I said, well, he may, out with his friends. About 3 o'clock, we got a ring at the doorbell, and 2 of the godbrothers and the doorman at the strip joint, they came and said, something happened to Carlos. We're like, we got to tell you something happened. I said, okay. So I said, wait a minute, go get my mom. I said, well, okay, what happened? He was shot. Where? In the mouth. What? I said, okay. So well, right now, we didn't call you right away because we wanted to make sure he got settled, stepped down, settled in, and they were taking care of him. And once they did that, we decided to call y'all. I said, where you at? Intensive care. I said, okay. So when I went there, I'm like, this is my baby. When I had him, he was 4.5 premature, 4.5 pounds. You can hold him in one hand. And, it's just that the idea of, him laying there, tubes just stuck everywhere. And trigger, because they had to cut the trigger here, because blood was in it. I'm like, okay. I said, okay, I gotta do that. I said, I called his father. I said, you need your ass here. He said, what? I said, Carlos been shot. I said, what? I said, get your ass here. Carlos need to be shot. He's been shot. I said, right now, I got to sign the papers for them to wire his jaw for 12 hours, 14 hours. I had to sign the papers. I said, they said, he won't be able to talk for a while. I said, fuck. So he said, bullets fired to shot at his teeth back here, to hit the C4, C7 vertical nerve, hit it in his back of his neck, pull the bullet out. I said, okay. So after the 14 hours, they comes back and said, now we got to take the bullet out. I said, okay. By that time, my other son was coming from Alabama to get to university. And he said, well, don't tell him, wait till he get here. So I waited till he got there, and I said, son, I said, Chris, I got to tell you something. He said, what, Mom? I said, Carter's been shot. He said, no. I said, yes. He said, when? I said, a couple hours ago. He said, I said, he's in intensive care. He's in the operating room right now. He said, oh, man. He said, not my brother. Because they was like this, you know, and you know, and when they came back to me and said, well, we need to you sign these papers to get the bullet out. I said, no, he said, hold on, 18 hours. I sat there through the whole, and I'm like, literally, I was like numb, you know, and I was like, okay, gotta do this. I ain't flicked with no emotion. I couldn't, because I was in shock. You know, my mom was like, this little baby that she had raised when I was in the recovery program, she raised my son. And, you know, she was more in shock than I was, because this little baby that she raised. And she said, no, not my little great, you know, badass little boy, you know. But, you know, that was her heart. Yeah. And I, you know, during that time, watching him laying up there with a tube going through his nose and a feeding tube, and he tried to pull tubes out because, you know, they had to strap him down. I hated to see him strapped down. Because he would do this, pull it out, or pull the IV out, you know, and I'm saying, you know, after a while, they said, well, he might not walk again. Okay. I said, okay. I said, mean, it's going to be permanent? He said, yes. I said, okay. I said, so they had to send him to a special Santa Clara Medical Valley Center where the sport players goes to. That's where he went. The best.
Is he walking now?
No, he's in a wheelchair.
He's in a wheelchair. Oh, how old? What was his age?
He was 18.
He was 18 years old. My
He was going to get his GED. Got 2 good jobs. I mean, loved it, you know. That's how hard he works. You know, despite, you know, the little ugly and the bad and good, but he's a pretty good boy. Who want to be, you know, he got an intelligent mind, a very intelligent mind.
What did you do to get through? How did you get through?
With me, how I got through is, I fought my way through. I wrote, you know, stuff, and by that same time I was in a program, and Contentious Housing.
Okay.
Then I got into a group called the Medea Project.
Oh, that's right.
The
Odessa
Consulate
Jones.
Homes.
So that was a great help for you.
Yeah. And when I got into that group, the women, you know, they helped me to understand what was going on with him and what was going on with me at the same time, because I had found out I had HIV full-blown AIDS. So, and he was kind of like, well, Mom, you got this, and so it was clashing, but what got me through is the women there in the group, knowing that I had support around him. That even though he was angry, I mean, real angry. You know, Mom, I wish I could do this, but I can't. I said, yes, you can. I said, yes, you can. You can get your mind to it. You can do it. No, I can't. No, I can't. I said, I really want to do it, but I know this is making me so mad. And when he told me that, I started crying. Because this expression on his face, like, Mom, I really want to do this, but I can't. I'm in this fucking chair. I wish I never went there. I wish I never had that. I wish I never did that. You know, so I know sometimes I would, you know.
And you had shared with your son to be careful about his
mouth.
Because we always tell one side.
He,
let's tell the whole side, because we have a young child there. I want him to learn a lesson. Come here, son.
He used to drink.
Come over here. I want you to learn a lesson of what happened. Her son was shot in the mouth, and she had warned him about his mouth. So I want you to listen, teach him, because this program is about
he had
making changes.
Without, if I was your man, stay connected with your education, and go by your mother's rules and laws. Listen to her, okay? Because when you get a certain age, there's gonna be times when other guys, best friends, want to kind of force you to do something that you don't want to do. And my son was like, when he was coming up, he was straight, good, but he got in the wrong crowd, smoking weed and drinking, and when he started drinking, his mouth started that calling women out their name. So
Did you hear that?
don't
Calling women out their name,
So
like
when you get
a lot of
older,
young brothers call women bees. Did you see that what the end result is? By him calling out a young woman by her name, which is not her name, you understand what I'm saying? And she had warned her son, be careful what you come up out of your mouth, because the tongue can either bring life or it can bring death, baby.
That's right.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you? This tongue is like a serpent. You see it? It's fleshly. Do you understand? Stick out your tongue. Wiggle it. Do you understand? Isn't that like a serpent? You understand? See, our responsibility is to teach these children.
That's right.
Why everybody out there politicking, playing, because you trying to see who can control the Navy shipyard and Candlestick, and these mothers is trying to run this race because we trying to save babies like that. I take this very personal, what y'all did. I take it personal because we are responsible for teaching these children.
because he is very fit.
Go ahead, Tony, because Tony has to go. She can't, okay.
Well, I'm going to ask him a real quick question, your son. What kind of math are you taking right now? What kind of math are you taking right now?
Writing fractions and stuff.
What grade are you in?
6.
See, would you be willing to work with somebody? Like if somebody from Google came and they say, hey, I want to tutor you and help you with math?
Oh.
To learn more math? See, because
Yes.
that's the answer. See, because in order to avoid what her son had gone through, math is actually the way out. Because you don't see mathematicians speaking a certain way because they understand that. That's why all them Googlers and all them tech people, they act a certain way. It
So I
doesn't
don't
matter what
believe
they're
that. I'm
race.
gonna interject. They might not do it in the streets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They don't do it in the
They ain't
streets.
no better than us.
Oh, of course not.
Okay.
No. They still do their
Try to
things.
not.
Yeah.
But as far as in public, they keep their things private.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the point is that education that they have, that's what we need for ourselves. And that's what we're lacking. All our schools, we don't have that in our schools. It don't make no sense to me. We live in Silicon Valley. San Francisco has all these tech companies, and all of these companies don't want to stay. They live in Mountain View, like Google's in Mountain View. Yahoo used to be in Sunnyvale. You know, Microsoft, they moved somewhere in Seattle or something like that. But my point is this. We could easily bring these people in here because they don't work full time. Like cause trust me, I know what they do behind closed doors. That's what they're not saints.
Yeah.
But they have enough sense not to do it in public, and that's the thing. They don't even work full time. They get full time paychecks and they do 20 hours of work for 40-hour pay. And we have to somehow figure out a way that these people are messing up our land and get these people involved in our schools. So one solution could be this. Make a mandate Google or whoever.
Yeah.
They're their bosses. They say, hey, look, you guys need to go to these poor schools where everybody's performing poorly. Teach men like this and with young women like this, because I don't know how old you are, but I know you're not that old. You know what I mean? But they need to teach our kids how to do well in science, how to do well in reading, and all that other stuff. So they could avoid all those confrontations that they never had to experience. Because I'm telling you, the reason why that dude shot, because he didn't know any better. I guarantee you he didn't know any better.
Because my other son, he's worked for, he went to succeed at university.
Mm-hmm.
Never graduated, but got all the knowledge he wanted. Then he left, went to LA to find a music school for audio engineering. Got it. Then he ended up working at Delta Airlines, back to claim. Been there for about almost 2 years. Now he's back. He moved back home from LA back here, working at San Francisco Airport customer service?
Well, we only have, I'm so thankful for this opportunity.
Yeah, we did good.
We need to, see, this is really what I enjoy doing, everyone. This has really been me. I'm a communicator all my life, and this is what I enjoy of us trying to really solve our problems. So, but I want you to express and tell your story, Alicia, because my girl has to go. She has another appointment, but we're going to be doing this quite often after the election. So go ahead and express.
My name is Elisha Rochelle, and my brother, Yusef Laron Campbell, was murdered in 2007, January 2007. He and his friend, it was a double homicide, were walking from the store, and somebody exchanged some words with them, and, you know, I heard that he was out. The gentleman that shot was out to kill somebody that night. That was his mentality. My brother got the brunt of it, and so did his best friend. And so, you know, out of all people, my brother, I couldn't understand it. It did not settle well with me. I didn't even want to believe it until I went to the morgue and saw him with a gunshot wound in his neck. And, you know, for me to have to go identify the body, that was too much for me. And it's just, it's people ask me, you know, or we have these conversations about, you know, this gun violence and, you know, what's going on, why is up the hill and down the hill feuding, or why is this block and that type of thing. And the mentality of the people are like, I have no clue why. It's illogical. It doesn't even make sense. So for me to make sense of my brother's death, I had to say, well, somebody's life was changed because his was taken. And he had such an impact, a great impact on so many people that it touched other people's lives and hopefully got them on the right track. Just like the young man who we just talked to. Get on the right track, because life is not, you know, I mean, it could be gone in the next second. We don't know. So by my brother's death, he had a daughter before he was murdered, and then he was his other child was still in the womb, and so she never met her dad. So my thing was, let me get these babies together and try to nurture them, and they're 11 and 12 right now, and so it's just, they never knew really their dad. You know, one was one and one was, you know, before he was even, before she was born. So that's my dedication to them, because I need to let them know who their brother was. And so he was a poet. He was the valedictorian of his high school. He had a full scholarship to San Francisco State. He was a very loving person, a giver, so funny, intelligent. I mean, it's just like, what? Yeah. So, you know, I do poetry, I do art.
That helps you get through.
It does help me get through. And I just try to shed a positive light on him to his children, you know, so they can have something. I always bring him up. I always tell them how much of him they remind me of, however you say that, how much they remind me of him. Yes.
That's
and
beautiful.
different traits that, oh, you have that just like your dad, you know, just like your dad was like this, you know what I'm saying? So that lights them up. It lights them up to know that this great man, you know, is their dad, and they have, it's evident, you know, that, you know,
That's
he was
what's
their
up.
dad. So it was beautiful to me.
Woo, thank
Well,
you.
this is beautiful. I did this, just me and Tiny for a magazine. Just did this. I wanted to acknowledge the loved ones and the family members. Did you want to express?
No,
Okay,
it just
well, okay,
happened.
good. Yeah. So I just wanted to create an avenue to say that I'm tired of us being abandoned. I'm tired of us, Black women and women, being forgotten. But the majority of a lot of, let's be honest, it's a lot of Black mothers that are losing their children. We have to be very honest. When I say transparency, I mean that we have to address this. It doesn't mean that we race. This is my girl Tiny, and she's Caucasian all the way, but she's straight cool. She more blacker than a lot of us. I'm sorry, yeah. So everybody see, that's my girl. So I won't say that. It's not about that. I should be able to speak someone we should have a representative. And I'm gonna say this. Y'all might get mad at me, but Cayenne West is not our representative. I want everybody to understand. I feel that's a great disrespect to say that Cayenne West is the Black Nation of People representative, for him to wear a hat on his head, a $2 hat, and say that in front of the White House that this hat make him feel like Superman. You know, talking about he make him feel like a man with a cape and some tights. Now, let's
That's
have
strange, right
I mean,
there.
I'm just putting that out there. That's a disrespect. And I said, you know, if it's getting to this point that we have to have someone like a Cayenne Rest, that people say that they are our representative, it's time for me to start raising my hand and say, I choose me. I'll be the representative if it's that bad. You know, and so I'm bringing transparency here. You want to say something concerning now? I can say that I am running. I got to put this in because I'm not going to neglect Sala Chandler in this. I am running. Vote for me. I am the girl for you. There's no one greater. There's no one stronger. There's no one more powerful. I've been doing this work 30 years. I lost a son on these streets. And I've taken that energy and made me so dynamic that I can be able to go into that boardroom and go into those chambers and negotiate for you, talk for you, travel the world, bring direct funding here with the EB-5 program where you don't have to worry about having credit check. No, we will fight for you. We will fight with the city and let the city know that they shouldn't have sold that land to one developer. And we will let it be known that it was supposed to be a community land, community benefits, and redirect what's going on back to the city so we can at least first and foremost clean it. I had a vision. It showed me that we can use a certain cement and explain that. We're going to end on this because this is about the contamination. Can that land be cleaned up?
Well, yeah, of course. it
1
can.
minute.
Okay, the land can be easily cleaned. All you have to do is know some basic science and how to use plant life correctly. They have aquifers in LA and Southern Cal. They have it, and the most contaminated water it goes naturally through these, you know, the roots and the reeds of these plants. Water's clean at the end of the aquifer. It's just all natural. So there's a lot of things you can do to clean up the environment that doesn't cost a lot of money. It doesn't take all of these weird scientists from all over the world. It's basic science. So with basic science and just a little bit of knowledge, you could build houses like Candlestick, like the aerated cement concrete could easily sustain anything because it doesn't damage with mold or termites can't attack it. So there's a lot out there that we can do that's really
Because
affordable,
we're talking
really
about
cheap.
radiation here.
Yes,
We're
dirt
talking
cheap
about-
stuff. So Sala had that dream about concrete, so I just did
I
a little
sure
bit
did.
of
It
thing.
showed
It's
me
Just
the
super
cement.
fun.
It showed me the cement.
You
I'm like,
could-
why
yeah,
is it
you
showing?
could- you could
And to
actually
show you
do
that it
it, yeah.
wasn't me, it had rhinestones. It had rhinestones with the cement, and it had rhinestones. And that has to do with an adornment, you know, to adorn and make it beautiful. So it let me know. And maybe people say, well, who are you? Well,
No,
I'm
but it's
thankful that
crazy,
the
but her
universe
dreams
chose
is
me.
like prophetic.
And I said, what can I say? Some of the people can be used, but some of the people can't.
And
I'm
for-
truly thankful that I'm one of the people that
Yeah,
For-
no, but-
and also, you realize with me, everyone know I'm very honest. I'm not a dishonest person. People from all over the world can be willing to do business with me because they see who I am. You know, a lot of people, you can see the shadiness. You know that they're politicians, slickster, and people don't want to really do a lot of business with the United States right now. It's been a lot of deception, but with me, they know that I'm very transparent, and they feel that I would be very honest. And we need honest people right now to start negotiating these deals to make sure that we all have common ground and be able to have equal housing and be able to have equal businesses and be able to have equal wealth and equal education and cultural awareness
Yes.
to deal with language and to deal with our cultural identity being taken, and that we are the present day Hebrews and we do have a language and we have our ceremonies. This is our Feast of the Tabernacle time, Hebrew culture, and we need to start identifying with the truth. Truly, who are the true Hebrews? You know, we have to look at originally who are the Hebrews, who are the 12 tribes of Israel. That's also in Revelation. So we can't do
Ashe.
anymore. We're gonna have to end it like this.
Thank
know,
you,
I love-
everybody.
We have to end it like this, even though we had about 45 minutes. We're gonna have to look into an hour. Thank you, Tiny Court
All right.
Magazine.
Poor People's
And
Revolutionary
you wanna say
Media.
something before
All
we-
right. We good. I just so people understand, listeners and followers, there's this Poor People's Revolutionary News Hour. We've been here with the community from District 10, which is actually HP, Hunters Point. And it's a neighborhood that's intentionally blighted, poor people of color neighborhood, like they do our neighborhoods all the time, everywhere in Americaland. And so we did this to bring out the mothers' voices, our resistance, and our liberation.